Our goal is simple: to help you achieve the dream and vision you first had when you thought about starting a business. We're here to make growing your business less complicated. There are building blocks to build a sustainable business. We promise to seek them out and address them all. The Better Your Business Show starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the Better Your Business Show. Learn from our experts as we teach you how to better your business. I'm Natalie Essman, financial strategist and your host this morning. We have the professor of social media himself, Mr. Todd Social, in the house. Woo woo! Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Loving to be here, loving the guest that's going to be on here today, and loving the fact that we all know that building a business doesn't come with an instruction manual, but our goal is to turn your roadblocks into bite-sized pieces. And today's guest is definitely going to help you better your business.
That's right. So whether you are joining us live or watching the replay, go to pillar5.com, take your free assessment, and then join us in our studio so we can answer any questions or concerns that you have throughout the show.
Well, I'm looking forward to this one because, some people, they're basically ninjas of the internet. And I think this particular guest, she shines so brightly, but yet she's very humble. And I think a lot of it comes from the fact that she loves what she does. And because of that, she's her critic's critic. She's always critiquing herself. But I'm looking forward for her to kind of step from behind the scenes and kind of show a lot of what she does and a lot of how she helps people.
Yes, me too. Absolutely. Everyone knows her as our co-hostess with the mostest, but we're going to see who is that lady. So we're having Shanna Mavis come up with us this morning, join us, executive business coach. So we can get to know Shanna on a more personal level. Who is she besides the co-host of the show? So we're thrilled to have you and let everyone get to know you a little bit better like Todd and myself do. So welcome. Masha's here. She's ready to hear you too.
Oh, thank you. Good morning. You guys had me all hyped up.
Yeah, good. Entrepreneur, business coach. You're the co-host with. You're so sweet, Shanna. Seriously, like even as Todd was talking about you right now, that's just always my first. And when he was talking about you humble, that's just always what I think in regards to you're so humble, so genuine, so kind. And even when I was reading your bio and all this stuff, I was like, she's just such a beautiful person. So I'm going to share a little bit, if that's okay. So, and you have your blog, which is Shenanigan. But so my greater purpose, this is from Shanna, my greatest purpose is to provide a safe space for people, no matter who they are, where they've been, or what they've done, to be okay with who they are, what they've been through, and what they've done. I try to keep my life simple. Love God, love people. My personal mission is to affect positive change in the world through authenticity, transparency, vulnerability, grace, and love in my everyday encounters. And you can always get to know Shanna a little bit better on shenanigans.blog, which was fun to see the pictures of your kids and all that stuff and to see all the resemblance. So I enjoyed that as well. So, and it was awesome just even hearing how you were introduced to be the co-host. I didn't even realize how kind of down the rabbit hole. So tell us a little bit about your background, your story, and how did you get to be a part of Pillar 5?
All right. Well, my background is in all things business. I think I've worked in every industry. I've worked with so many different companies. I've worked as an admin. I've worked as a VP. So I've just kind of run the gamut of, business in all of these industries. And one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of, businesses, no matter how long they've been in business, there's still so much more that they can learn. So many things. It really doesn't matter how long you've been doing business. You may still be in startup stage, so it's just seeing how things should be progressing, but they're not. But as I guess I fast forward to around a year ago, I was working with this small business owner. She has this amazing platform for insurance agents, and I was doing a lot of the marketing for her, which is not necessarily my background. It's just something that I picked up and I've learned from, real experts in the marketing world. But I was working with her and she was like, you've got to meet this guy. And this guy happened to be Carlton. So I was introduced to Carlton. We started talking about what he did and how I could help, because I feel like that's what I'm here for, is to help any small business owner achieve their vision, and if they don't have one, let's establish that first and then achieve it. But he had this amazing vision to help small business owners. So we had that in common. And as I was listening to him talk about the Pillar 5 product and what it does, I was like, this is amazing, because I know that when I had my own business, there were a lot of things that it was trial and error. I was doing a lot of research. I was looking at the Small Business Administration, trying to understand how to do this business plan because I need to get funding, all of these things, but I wasn't taking the right steps. I could have grown a lot more had I had this product. And I found that out when I was going through it, but the fact of the matter is it was giving step-by-step instructions. And I was like, if it does what you say it does, and I challenged him, I was like, are you drinking your own Kool-Aid? I need to make sure that, you are doing the same thing that you're asking business owners to do, because we don't have a lot of money as business owners who are trying to bootstrap our businesses. And a lot of us we know what it's like to be in debt. And so once he told me, yes, we are following this method ourselves, this is how we're growing our company. I even challenged him at, hey, you're not at maturity. So how can you tell me? And he was like, because I've involved experts along the way to validate this. So I know this will work. And so I started going through, I took the assessment myself, and it was like, yep, you're in seed stage. And I was like, absolutely makes sense to me. The questions that it was asking and the steps it said to take, I was like, I can walk anyone through this. I can help people build businesses with this. I don't have to know everything. I have to know what I need to do next or what they need to do next. And then through getting on the show and meeting up with some of the experts, I was like, oh, now I have resources to help these people that can, and they can do it so much better and so much faster than I could. So it just worked out beautifully. The end.
Awesome. I love it. I love how you challenged Carlton too.
Yeah, I want to know.
First time in a long time someone's challenged him like that is my guess.
But I mean, because everything sounds good. And I jumped on a lot of things that sounded good. And, and so many, I think about some of my roles. I was thinking about that this morning. A lot of people will come up to me and they'll be like, I just asked myself, what would Shanna do? And I'm like, Shanna stops herself from doing all of the crazy things that come to mind. As entrepreneurs, we have these amazing ideas and we want to go for every one of them. And I have to stop myself because I will think about, what do all of the experts that I've talked to, what would they tell me? And it's just like, slow down. Don't do this yet. Do a little bit more research. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? So it's just, I needed to know that this is something that truly would help. And if you're not using it yourself, then I wouldn't feel comfortable promoting it to other people. You know what I'm saying? So I have to ask those questions before I jump on this bandwagon that says, hey, try this out. It's going to help you. I needed to understand a little bit more. And that sometimes comes in the form of a challenge.
Okay.
Have you found, since you've been using the Pillar 5 platform with your clients, have you found that there tends to be a certain area that they need help in the most?
All of them. Really, because the way that it's structured, I know that the infrastructure pieces, there's a lot of that business owners need when they're first starting out. It's really setting up, how is your business going to run? Have you taken all of these steps that are necessary? Then there's that big marketing component that many of them want to jump on. They are all ready to talk about their business. And it's like, all you have is an idea right now. Nothing's been proven. You've not tested the market. There's a lot of steps that you're missing. But without seeing it myself, being able to walk through, I cannot know everything. And so, but looking at the business owners that I've worked with, it really is, most of them are in seed stage. So we're focusing a lot on the, finance pillar, the infrastructure, and the marketing pillar.
I feel like you're talking to me a little bit with the jumping into things and slowing down. I'm like, I can relate to that so much, Shanna.
We do. I do it myself. I can dream big. I'm like, okay, yes, absolutely. And, it takes a lot in me to slow down. And I think that's why I wanted to be a coach, because I was like, I am right there with you. I want to jump on everything that you want to do. We can make this thing blow up. I believe in you, and especially, I work with people that I believe that they've got something really big. And then I work with other people who I'm just like, okay, I know what you're trying to do. Let's see what we can do to make this the way that it needs to be. But that's a lot of it is we just have so many ideas. I think so many entrepreneurs are just they're idea people, they're visionaries. And so looking at it from that standpoint and recognizing that myself, I'm like, okay, I can't calm me down, but maybe I can calm you down. Maybe I can ask some of those harder questions, but in, a kind way. I want to understand, because you've got a vision, or you've got this, let's pull out your vision and then let's go toward it. But that means that we've got to examine some of the things that aren't pretty, some of the things that aren't marketing. We've got to focus on getting your budget right. We've got to make sure that you have one, and I don't like doing them, but I know that it's necessary. So let's take the time and work through this together.
You talking my language.
Yeah. And that's, I think, part of the beautiful part of the platform too, is that, you have to go through those. You can't just, brush over those things, save it for later. It's part of it. You have to, do it to advance. You have to do the things you don't like, drink the dirty water, so to speak. So, Sorry I interrupted you, Todd.
No. You can always interrupt me now. That's not a problem. So, Shanna.
Yes.
You know that I like to talk to you. Because you speak. Oh yeah, because I think whenever I talk to you, you're speaking from the customer's perspective. I think your thought process really emotes that. So, as a consumer yourself, and we'll get into mechanics of this. What do you think is key for a person in business now, as it relates to Pillar 5, like the process, the vision, the scope? What are they going to learn, or what is a good takeaway for them? Because we know businesses struggle because they don't have enough resources, and Pillar 5 does provide these resources, but there's that opportunity between where you're at to where you need to go. So what is your viewpoints on that?
So as it relates to Pillar 5, I think the business owners need to know what to do next. You've got boundless energy. You are spinning your wheels and spinning your, every idea. If you're chasing after it, then you're never going to build your company. So Pillar 5 does a great job of saying, hey, stop. This is what you need to do next. And that gives you, if you're up at 2:00 in the morning, then that's where you need to be doing your research is, do I have a marketing strategy in place? Do I know how much capital it's going to take to start my business if I haven't already started it? And if you have already started it, then it's taking a look and saying, okay, am I right? Am I on the mark? It may be looking at the vendor directory and trying to find a resource there that just says, okay, this is what I've come up with. Let me spend an hour with a coach, or let me spend an hour with this particular type of expert, because then I can save a lot more. I can save money that way. That's kind of my goal, because a lot of the companies I'm working with are bootstrapping their business. They're trying to do this with their own money and with their own, just anything that I come up with. It's all me. I don't want to go into debt, or I'm trying to attract an investor. Well, it is important that you take the right steps, because you've only got so much money, and if you're working and just throwing it away by, I'm putting out all of these ads on social media and I'm not getting any business. Well, who are you talking to? Is your message right? And having the ability to have someone, like I said, even an hour, I can get Todd Social, an hour of Todd Social's time, not necessarily you, but someone like you, a master like you, buy me an hour of their time at whatever rate that is. That's going to be money so much better spent than if I run, 500 ads on Facebook and all of my audience is on Instagram or TikTok. So there's a lot of benefit in knowing what you're supposed to do and knowing that you've got resources within this platform that can help you achieve that. And stop trying to do it alone. You can't. You cannot do business for yourself.
So can we rewind real fast, because someone from the studio audience is asking, what is Pillar 5? So I think I started the show very assumptively, just thinking everyone knows what Pillar 5 is, right? So let's reverse and talk about what Shanna and Todd, if you want to jump in on that, on what is Pillar 5.
Yeah, Todd, do you want to take it?
Oh, see, this is why I love you, Shannon, because it's like, I knew she's going to say that. What is Pillar 5? Oh, yes. Pillar 5 is your business GPS. Imagine yourself trying to find yourself, growing from where your idea is, where your business is, through the proper stages. In order to go through the proper stages, you have to have a guidebook, a mentor. And what Pillar 5 does is it provides all the above. It's a one-stop shop for navigating you through all the nuances that businesses have, because we all know that most businesses, or 76% of businesses, don't make it after the first 10 years because they're so focused on that first year for 3 years. And what Pillar 5 does is kind of hold your hand to a degree to help you understand how to hold yourself accountable in your growth of your business. So essentially, we can call it a tool, we can call it a resource. I really look at it as a community, because embedded in that community are people like Shanna, people like Natalie, people like myself, and some of our strategic partners that are always collaborating with us to kind of help us grow our business. I mean, even for me, myself, my business has grown in a sense that I looked at, I think I was talking to Carlton last week about this. It's like some of the stuff that, I looked at, I was already using back in 2015. But the difference is when you get kind of in the midst of business, you forget some things. You write stuff up on the wall. You got everybody has their vision board, right? Everybody got their vision board. They got their branding kit. They got their logo. They got all these things. But how do you bring all that together? Because don't dump it on me, marketing. You got to put it, in a platform that's vested for you to actually get yourself to the other side. And that to me is really what Pillar 5 is. Plus, you get access to Shanna Banana Hair, so she can kind of help you, whip you into shape and stuff.
Yeah, I love, you're absolutely right, except for the whipping you into shape part. No, I love that it does walk you step by step. And I think that's the thing, that with everything going on in your head as a business owner, you're trying to figure out how to make this work. I've got this amazing idea. I'm going to build this company that's going to be, it's going to have an app. It's going to, reach all of these people and help them in this way. You've got all of that running through your head, and it just stops you and says, hey, this piece, focus on this piece. And business owners, visionaries, entrepreneurs, they need focus. If we don't focus on one thing, we're not going to be able to achieve anything. I really believe that you've got to have that focus. And I know it helped me. And there are a lot of people, I feel like, that are like me, that are trying to help people, those business owners that are really trying to build something bigger than themselves to help this market. It just stops you and just says, okay, this is all you need to worry about right now. And that gives me peace of mind, because when I'm working with people, and I've talked to them, and it's just been so beneficial, because they're like, oh, okay, this is all I need to do. Yes. And there's nothing more that you can do until you do these steps, you know? It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. All of these things that you put in place, all of this time, you know, building these posts that you're putting out there, it's not going to benefit you if you don't have these steps.
I look at it as the structure to having the sustainable business as if you went into like a multi-level type of platform. Since I know my friend that asked that question, right? It fits right. It's like the business format system of your business format system. But if you're in any type of multi-level structure type of business, they have a system, right? You go in, you start the system, you run the system, rinse and repeat. That's what you do. And so when I look at the Pillar 5 software, it's kind of the same thing. It's like, here's your system to start your business and have it be sustainable from cradle to grave. To exit your business, here's how you start. Here's all the things you need to stay in business, make money, do your taxes right, blah, 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 boop. And then this is how you retire, leave it to your legacy, exit rich, whatever you want to do. That's how I always see it. So hope that helps, Fitzroy. But so I know that we had someone asking about sharing some of the stories from Pillar 5 and all the entrepreneurs that you've interviewed, Shanna.
Yeah, I actually, when I first started working with I Do Systems, that was one of the tasks that I jumped on. I was like, yeah, I want to talk to people because, again, before I recommend this, I need to know, you know, I can only go so far in it because of the type of business that I want to build eventually. You know, so I'm really looking at this, and I needed to hear from people who are actually using it. I don't want marketing speak. I want real talk. And I even told everyone that I interviewed, I was like, okay, I want to hear the good, the bad, the ugly. I want to hear it all. And I was like, I'm only going to show the good because this is marketing. But, I said all of it is necessary because if you don't tell me what's bad, I can't tell them so they can change it. I can't give them any, this product, this platform. When I talked to Carlton and Tehran and I understood their heart, I talked to Keisha and understood why she was doing this. All of these people, these are the top leaders of the organization, right? CEO, co-founder and the COO. I'm asking them what their stories are behind this. Why did they put this together? So I know that their heart is to stop the business death rate, right? They want to see these small business owners win. Everyone loves an underdog. That's one of the things Carlton said. They want to see these small business owners win. We know that there's a shift that's happening and more people are going into business for themselves and trying to do this thing, and they want to see it done right. And so when I was interviewing, actual users, I was like, tell me everything, because I know that anything that you don't like, I'll take that back to that leadership team and they're going to start making changes. If that's what the rest of the market is saying, they're going to start making changes before they release this. And that's exactly what happens. They looked into it, but I kept hearing, really good things about it is just telling me what I need to do next. It is, giving me, access to resources. It's giving me, I can look here. I don't have to search the internet to find out what I think I need. And things like that really stood out to me because that's what a lot of people are doing. If you don't have something that provides you with, either the business in a box, and I work with another organization that does that, or the Pillar 5 that says, here's how you build a sustainable Fortune 500 type business. So two different paths. But if you don't have one or the other, you're just searching the internet, pulling whatever validates what you're thinking, which may not be right. And I've been guilty of that as well. I look and it's just like, oh, this sounds exactly like what I'm thinking, so I'm going to go with that. But it's not necessarily the right thing, because someone will come and they'll ask me questions and it's like, oh, there's a hole in that. There's a hole in that. Now I've got to backtrack and sometimes start over. So, I did hear from a lot of the real business owners, things that they really loved about it. And they were like, I want more resources in there. I want to give me more videos, give me more this, give me more that. But they saw benefit in what was in there. And so as we're building up that repository, it's becoming more and more robust. They're getting more of what they need without searching. And it's not validating what you think. It's saying, here's based on research. This is exactly what you need to look at this stage. And if you're still not sure what to do, click on the vendor directory, find a coach, find a resource provider, have someone else do this marketing strategy or help you with your business plan. You don't have to do it alone.
That's awesome. So we have a question here. So what is your business experience and have you ever ran a business?
Okay, so I've run a few businesses. I've been a solopreneur a lot. I actually had a business in Oregon where I had a fried chicken stand. We were at like a farmer's market, and I made what I felt like was some of the best fried chicken I'd ever had. And so as I gave it out to people, tried it on neighbors. There was one time I remember I was just like, it was so horrible because I oversalted it, and they were so gracious about it. And she was like, and I was like, girl, I know it was bad. And so the next day I made another plate, and then they came over with it empty, and they were like, okay, please more. May I have more? So we were like, okay, let's go ahead and get this started. I bought all of the equipment. A friend of mine, she loaned me the money to buy all of the equipment, and we kicked it off. And it was a long, hard lesson because it was just like, hey, why aren't you doing this? And my pride wouldn't let me change things initially. Some guy kept coming up to me and he was like, hey, can you do corn dogs? I was like, hey, guy, it says SDZ's fried chicken. That's what we sell. The next week he came back. He was like, hey, do you do corn dogs? You have all of the equipment. And I was like, dude, fried chicken. And then I went home, after the third week, I went home and I told my husband, I was like, the fried chicken or the corn dog guy was back. And he was like, maybe that's God's way of telling you to make corn dogs. So I looked up how to make a corn dog, and I started making corn dogs, and we sold out within an hour because kids were there. This is an evening event. Kids are out of school. They love corn dogs. We sold out. It was our top seller. I learned a lot of those lessons the hard way. I learned about keeping track of my expenses. I learned about all of these things. I could have taken it a lot farther had I had, advisors. And when I started opening it up and talking to my husband, talking to my friend that loaned me the money, talking to other people, getting ideas outside of what I was thinking, then things started taking off. So it was, I do have experience in that. We ran that for 3 years. Each year we were more profitable. I was actually able to give people money, start paying back the loan.
Was it always corn dogs for the 3 years?
We did start doing corn dogs every year for the 3 years. So we still had our fried chicken. We also learned that, giving away breast pieces because they sit in the warmer, they get drier faster, and you don't want dry white meat. And so it was just like giving those out as samples wasn't our best bet. It was cheaper to buy wings by the pound and give those out. They've got the breading on it. They just got a better flavor. So we learned a lot. It's just trial and error about how to run this business. And I think back to that, it's just like, if I had Pillar 5, it would have been a lot better. Or, if I had this other product, I could have reached a lot more people. It just depended on the mindset that I had at the time. But I think I've been in business my entire life. In high school, I typed up papers for one of my teachers who was going back to school. It was just like, I want a job. I have skills. I can type really fast and very accurately. So give me money. And, there I'm in business. And, as Natalie, I was telling you, I found a lot of Craigslist jobs. And I was like, not to be confused with like Backpage hooker. These were legit jobs. I know, Todd. But yeah, these were legit jobs. I found a lot of them. And it's just like, so I would just do anything where I could earn extra money. It was like, okay, yeah, I'll be self-employed. Send me a 1099. I started learning about, just how I could do this. But I've run a few businesses, mostly, just self-employed, administrative type things. But I know this year I'm trying to shift in a different direction. I'm only coaching a few people. I started doing that. I'm only coaching a few people as my own business. I'm working more towards getting content out there for every business owner. I don't want them to struggle, so I'm trying to be very mindful, intentional about, interviewing people and putting that content out so that as business owners are up at 2 a.m., hey, here's something that might help.
Well, what's interesting, Shannon, and I'd like to pivot back to the question, because I believe everyone has a business experience. It's just whether they're cognitive on the information they get or how they respond to it. And what I like about your story is that you had a pivot moment, and I think that's actually very important to note. For the audience, is like you had a moment where you could have stayed in your pride or preference, and this will explain Pillar 5 to a lot of people. But you shifted, to a product that was familiar to your customer, but maybe not familiar towards your goals. And a lot of times we're on our path towards our goals, and we think that what we do is going to directly help someone, but sometimes we have to go to an indirect path to get to the journey we're supposed to be at. So it's interesting that you did that, because there's a lot of food vendors that wouldn't have did that. They wouldn't have broke camp. I especially know a lot of fried chicken vendors.
I was going to say that with fried chicken, yeah.
Yeah, they ain't did it.
It's like a religion.
Yeah,
I make a really great corn dog. As it turns out, I know how to make cornbread, and it's just like, oh, dip that in that. Awesome. This is great. So yeah, it took a lot. It took 3 solid weeks.
But that's a big thing though, because imagine a lot of people that start business, say when they're young, just like people start college when they're young with a goal of graduating with something, right? But they stay stuck in their diploma, just like in business, they stay stuck in their business model instead of like shifting or pivoting, and especially when it comes to money, because I know Natalie likes to talk about money. So it's like they stay stuck in their financial principles because they need to validate, whatever idea they had. You already proved to yourself that you're capable of making chicken, but you pivoted to it's another product, which means that if you could pivot to one product, you could pivot to 100.
Oh yeah, we fried everything.
Okay. Right. And that's the power of having different people involved in Pillar 5, is that you can be able to pivot because you get correct information, correct analysis. So that explains to me why you are important for your customers, because branding and marketing essentially start from the foundation of the ability to adjust. If you cannot adjust, you can't market or brand anything. And a lot of people stay stuck there. And I think, it's a testament to who you are, that your ability to shift is really what people need to understand. Is shifting is key. Responding to customer demand is important, or responding to feedback. And this is what you do for your customers, and this is what people can actually receive in Pillar 5.
Man, on that note, we are going to go into a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Go refill your coffee. We'll see you soon.
If you did, you're a vampire and you've been on this planet for over 700 years. If not, you're fooling yourself.
All right, now. So I'm not a vampire, and I'm not fooling myself into thinking that I can do it all and that that's sustainable. But what choice do I have?
First of all, we are fooling ourselves. So I'm not even going to let that slide. We are fooling ourselves when we think we can do it all. And we know it when we find ourselves waking up at 4:30 in the morning, not going to bed to 3 o'clock at night. We put over 18,500 hours into Pillar 5, and that was just me. That doesn't count Tayron Glover. That doesn't count Teflar. That doesn't count all the team members who've been with us from the start. And some of the team members that we have now who've been plugging in a tremendous amount of hours to get to where we are. A lot of work. Here's what you do. If I want to start a football team, what's the first thing I got to do? Build a team. Let's just say I want to build a basketball team. The first thing I got to do is get a basketball team, right? So if I want to own a national basketball team that competes as a business, I need a manager, I need trainers, I need health professionals, I need supervisors, I need HR, I need press, I need team members, I need If you're making sales, you're proving that the market wants what you have.
And we are back with Shanna Mavis, business consultant and executive coach and co-host of the show. Well, you were dropping some wisdom there, Todd. I like it when you start going off on branding and marketing. That was really good.
Well, because I think it's important, like what Shanna really does, and this is good for the audience to actually learn, not only Pillar 5, but just interactive with different businesses as a whole. I think the mistake that most people make is they stay hung up on one aspect of their business. I think that's a pretty common thing. And then they shift to try to save their business to save that aspect. So a lot of times people come to marketing not because they want to market their business, because they want to validate their idea, right? And so I think it's important that someone like Shanna plays a key part of a business where she can shift from marketing to branding, to foundation, to infrastructure. And then it makes it easier, I think, for outliers of businesses like what you do, Natalie, is pivotal too. But in order for you to do what you do best, all those components have to be kind of prepared in the right type of mindset. And we've talked about this before. So I think Shanna, there's a lot of Shannas in a lot of businesses. And I think people don't recognize how important it is to have a Shanna in your business, because she can shift. Because for me, I know, Natalie, you talk about money. So if they ain't talking about money, you ain't talking, right? For me, it's like with marketing. If you ain't talking about marketing, I done tuned you out. Like, I ain't trying to hear nothing you trying to say. So you need a Shanna in your business, that helps you in that bridge. And I think that's also explains why Pillar 5 should be important to people, because you need that bridge. Let's face it. Everybody woke up today, and some people like, yeah, I'm doing good with my marketing, or yeah, I got a great logo, or yeah, I made some wonderful sales. What's your back end looking like? What are you investing in? Do you have the infrastructure to sustain what you're doing, or is it just a good peak season? There's a ton of questions that people are asking. So now turning it back to you, Shanna, I know you get a lot of people because you're kind of like a switch hitter in terms of dealing with people in business and stuff like that. How do you assess, your clients whenever you're interacting with them? Because I think that's a hard thing to really diagnose, right? How do you assess them, and then how do you take them from where they're at to where they need to go?
Great
Assess
question.
them in what respect?
Well, just in understanding, they might come to you and say, hey, I need you to do something like this. But you start to look and say, no, this is not what you actually really need. You need this, and point that out. So how do you take them through that process to get them to understand the pivot?
Okay, so initially what happens is I look up like this because I'm trying, and I learned this from a friend of mine. I work with her. She's got a publishing company that she just started. And so, she's got so many ideas. She's super excited and she's passionate, and it's an amazing project. This company, the way that it was, she works with incarcerated men, and she published a lot of their poetry during COVID. The book is called Surviving Lockdown. And so it's just like, if y'all think y'all are locked down out there, imagine what it's like inside. And so she published this book of poetry, and there's, these stories and, just the beauty that comes from such a desolate place, as we know it. I look at this because of how much it means. I sit there and I'm just like, wait, something doesn't make sense about what you're saying. And this is too important in order for us to not get it right. Right. So I took her through Pillar 5, and I was like, let's take a step back. Let's see what you need to be working on, because we need to build this the right way, and at whatever point, I do that with pretty much any of the clients that like I said, I'm choosing to work with certain ones this year, simply because, we've been on this journey. I know where you're going. You've given me a picture. I sit down and we talk about what your vision is, and if you don't have one, spend a few days, come back to me. Let's see that, because then I know where we're trying to go. And I can tell you when I hear something that's not in alignment with that. But the technology side, which I think we all need, we all need it. It just helps us take the right steps. And then I know at what point I need to engage a Todd or a Natalie, because I'm like, I can't help you with this. I would be doing the research too. I don't have every skill in the world, so I need to talk to someone else. But I've got to ask you a lot of questions that are hard for you to answer, because ego does not want us to say we don't know, and once going through that myself, I can recognize it in others. And it's just like, I'm patient, it's let me sit here and let you process this, because I'm just here to try to help you grow your business. I just want to see you succeed. And the only reason I'm asking this is to make sure that we've thought this through, because if you can explain this to me, then we can keep moving forward. But right now I'm at a pause, and I don't know who I could even bring in to help you with this, because it's not clear. You've got your overarching vision, but everything within it, I believe, has a vision. Your marketing, there needs to be a vision for it. Your campaigns within your marketing, there needs to be a vision. Your finance, there needs to be a vision for it. You need to understand, I want to have this much money by the end of the year. Then Natalie can come in and she can start asking you those questions that say, okay, do you have a budget? How much money are you spending? How much money are you bringing in? She can ask you all of these questions and let you know, in order to to reach that goal, you're going to have to take these steps. She breaks it down for you. But if it's not clear to me, then it's not going to be clear to Natalie. And it's going to take you a lot more time, a lot more money to spend with Natalie. But if you don't have answers to this, so sit with me, let's talk about this, and then we can get you ready for those next steps. So yeah,
and if it's not clear, excuse me, if it's not clear to you, it's not clear to them.
Correct.
And so I love that so much, Shanna, because you're making them really just get clear on that. And a lot of times, if we're not congruent in an area, we're not realizing it typically, right? We need someone to kind of point us out so that we can become congruent, because usually that's the challenge, to become congruent. So that's powerful stuff. What is the number one issue you hear from business owners you work with?
I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money. And that's why I love that clip that, that you played during the break, because Carlton was listing all of those things. And I was like, but dude, in real life, we need money for all of those things. So how do you do? And then he just, came back and schooled me, y'all. I was just like, okay. So guess what I did? After that interview, I went to every one of the people that I'm working with, and a lot of them are from like my entrepreneurs group, through, I meet with them every other week. Amazing coffee, Mudleaf Coffee in Plano, Texas. You guys, if you ever want a cup of coffee, go there. The experience is awesome. But they're part of this group. And so I'm hearing them saying, okay, I need a team, but I can't get a team because I don't have any money, because I'm just trying to do this with whatever money I've got coming in from this job or that job. And so it's just like, I was able to go back to them with the wisdom that Carlton gave me and say, okay, wait, stop. Here's how you can get a team. You need to have a vision though, because you can get a lot of people to come alongside of you and help you if they know exactly where you're going. I'm living proof of that. I've got so many people in my corner, so many people that have just been like, oh, let me do this for you. Let me get you this. Let me get you that, because they see where I'm trying to go. And there are so many people who will just buy into your vision, they will not charge you anything because they believe in you and they believe in where you're going. So, don't take advantage, but recognize that if there's a vision, you've got a lot of people that will follow.
Yeah. And sometimes when I think about that too, because even based on the show from last week where we had SmartBean, Because I was even thinking after the show, because the smallest package was $140 a month, right? So I was thinking about it, and I was like, I bet you anything. Reality is if you have someone go look at your finances, they're going to find $140 and free that up from there every month anyway. So when I think about if the first thing they're saying as an entrepreneur is the money is the challenge, then that conversation with the professional needs to start right away too, because
Right.
it might not be that they're not having enough money coming in. It might be that they're just not being a good steward of what they already have, right? That's the whole thing that started with Carlton and Tehran. They kept giving all these businesses funding, right, but weren't teaching them how to use it. And that's where Carlton and Tehran were having a challenge and not feeling congruent. Like, we're not really helping these business owners. We keep giving them more money, but they don't know what to do with it. We're not solving the problem. So sorry, that was my tangent.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And there are a lot of companies and consulting firms. There are a lot of them that will take advantage of that and that will do exactly that. Let me find you funding and I get my kickback. You get, you're on the hook for all of this debt and you still don't know how to run your business. So you do that process over and over and over again. And I don't want to be a part of that system.
Right.
I want to see you grow your business. You have this vision. I want to see you achieve that by any means necessary. And there are too many people that I know that I've met on the show this has been such a beautiful experience for me. I was so excited when they were like, hey, do you want to help co-host this show? And I was like, yeah, because I watched all of the episodes last season and saw, just the experts that were coming in. And so I heard myself going back and telling people, hey, wait, I'm hearing you say this, but I heard Sharon Lecter say that, so consider this. And that's all I really ask you to do is consider a different way of looking at it, because I can't force you to do something, and that's not my goal. My goal is to walk alongside of you, recognize that you need grace in this space, that you need an understanding. You've got so much going on. I just want to help you. And so that means that I need to step back, but I'm going to invite you to consider something different because this opened my eyes. And so I want to share that with you. And so that's all, it just gives them something to think about. But yeah.
Exactly. What is an issue you face in your business or know that business owners face, that other business owners face?
I think not knowing what you really need to do. Because I struggle with that sometimes still is coming up with that vision and making sure that it's clear. So a lot of the times that's where I really start to focus. I sit and I have conversations and I'm like, okay, let's record this because I want to go back. And if I can draw a picture of it, and I started doing that recently. I mean, it's like a flow chart, but we can use any shape that makes you comfortable. But it really is, if I can draw a picture, you can put that on your board and you know what you're working toward. But if I can't draw a picture, or it starts getting muddy, or it starts getting too complicated, then we know we need to clear this up. It just helps me ask a lot of questions, but really it's that lack of clarity that I feel like a lot of business owners, face. And so I try to help clear things up as best I can.
Clarity is key. And I think you brought that up and brought me to a question that I always like to really ask you whenever we're talking, our talk. So in terms of like clarity for a business owner, what are some of the key things that you have experienced that they needed to get clear on? Such as if they started a business, did they really discover the reason, their why, or are they just kind of maneuvering through? What are some of the key things that you've seen in your own like personal experience? Because you said like you've been like an administrative assistant, you've been several different things. Obviously, you see a lot, right? So what is it that you see that a lot of these people don't get clear on?
The money aspect is a big thing because I think a lot of people will spend and spend and spend without really knowing exactly what they're trying to achieve or who they're talking to. So kind of finance and marketing, there's a lack of clarity there. with most people, because business owners and the pride that comes with that, you do have a great idea. Yeah, there's so many people with so many great ideas, but that's all it is until you really put that vision behind it. What does this really look like in real life? What do your customers, how do they feel walking in the door? What does the parking lot look like? What is, all of these little nitty gritty details? You need to be able to paint this picture so that, you'll know that you've made it. You know what it looks like, and you'll know when you've arrived. And then it's like, okay, now what's next? But there's a lack of, I really do feel like there's a lot of lack of clarity in knowing who you're talking to and how you should be spending the money or what you're spending. So, oh, okay. Sorry. I was distracted by the banner.
Question. Yes. Yeah. So if you're in the audience watching, if you could drop in the chat, what is an issue you face in your business, or that maybe you have some friends that are business owners face? We'd love to hear. We can address them right now. Drop them in the chat, or even on a different show. But, we'd love to be able, that's the whole point of Pillar 5. That's why we say, go take the assessment, right? So you can see where is the challenge where we need to shift in our own businesses. So.
And that's key right there, Natalie, what you just said. And I think that's kind of the perfect thing for, a solution for Todd's question, because you're asking, what are some of the challenges? And we all know we've got challenges. The solution is understanding, if you know, and knowing is, half the battle, right? I know that I've got to take this next step. That's amazing. And you guys, because this is the Better Your Business show, and because I am who I am, I have to, I want to make sure I love Pillar 5. I really do. It is the perfect platform for business owners who are trying to grow the Fortune 500 way, right? We say that on the website. We guide them through that whole process of building this type of business. But I also have to say, on the other side, there's an understanding that all I need to do is X, Y, and Z. And so there's another company that's hyper local, Dallas area, that I've been working with. They've got this platform that will help anyone become a solopreneur and reach out hyper local and support Black-owned businesses or women-owned businesses or vet-owned businesses. You've got the gamut. It just puts a lot of power in their hands, but it's an understanding that I don't want to take all of the steps to build a Fortune 500 business. Once you do that, then I can help you on this side, because I can point you to the union and say, okay, check this out, because they've got a business in a box for you that's going to help you reach your customers. 80% of your existing customers give you your money. So reach out to them, serve them well, and they will continue serving. But you don't want to grow to be Fortune 500, go this route, but either way, it's looking at it and saying, what am I trying to accomplish? What is the vision for my life, for my business? What does this look like? Do I only want to sell 500 tamales a day? Great. Let me go to the union. Do I want to grow this amazing tamale business that, is in multiple states that I can start franchising? Pick up Pillar 5. Either way, I say start with that assessment. That gives you an idea. Go to, pillar5.com/try. I know we'll put it up there. Go there, take the assessment and see, because that is going to tell you right away, do you have what it takes to go through this? It takes a lot. There's so many building blocks in there, but that's the only way that you're going to build this type of sustainable business, this type of company. If you don't want to take those steps, there are other options for you. There are resources still within Pillar 5 that you can access that can help you and guide you along the way. But you've got resources out there. So start looking for those, but be honest with yourself about what you're trying to build.
And that's one of my favorite parts of the platform as well, is that the resources are there. Because that's the other thing too. We don't know who to talk to about some of these things, right? There's a million experts. So who do I talk to? And so there you have the platform. They've already been vetted through the system. They're there right for you based on where you're at and who you need to reach out to. So I love that. It's very simple. You have all the experts just waiting to serve you.
Yes. And you need them. I absolutely, because I'm just like, okay, girl, hold on just a sec. let me go look and see who I know that can answer this question for you. I'm going to do everything that I can. Yes, thank you. app.pillar5.com/try. I think everyone should take the assessment if you're thinking that you want to be in business. That will help you understand what you're what you're in for. That's going to be part of it, but it is going to walk you through step by step if you're trying to build, a sustainable company that's going to outlast you and leave a legacy. You are going to need to take certain steps to do that. So I think everyone, you owe it to yourself. If you're in business, it's free.
Yeah.
It does not cost you anything to take this assessment. Understand where you are and get an idea of what it's going to take to get to where you're trying to go. But there are resources.
Yeah. I mean, what if you go take the assessment and the feedback is that you're killing it and you can become a Fortune 500 company if you really want to? You just didn't know it. You know what I mean? It's like this one little tweak, or you just don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It changes, it helps people. Most of the time I've had, the business owners that I've worked with through Pillar 5 have all been in seed stage. And I just watched someone through, and he, graduated from seed stage level 1 to seed stage level, 2 or what. And he was just like, yeah, free is my favorite number too, Fitzroy. Believe me. I'm just like, free it to me. Absolutely. I try to do things as free as possible. But, he just graduated, we'll say, to the next level. And we were super excited about that, because it's just like, okay, now what do we need to focus on? Oh, yeah. And then it's like, okay, now let's gather all of our resources, see who we need to talk to, who do we involve in order to get this done as quickly as possible. We are going to accelerate his growth because we know exactly what we should be focused on and who we need to involve. So, yeah, it's amazing. You owe it to yourself to do it.
And I'm sure he's just getting more and more excited every time, right?
Yeah.
You can have that process of, I'm trying to figure this out. I need to research this, call this person, blah, 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 and drive yourself crazy. Or you can just go to the next pillar, see your progress, get excited, and keep moving forward. And it keeps amping you up. Yeah. And you too, as the coach.
I get excited. It's a huge win for everyone. And we like to see that as entrepreneurs, because it's so, we put so much of ourselves into it. We're spending all of our time and energy and money. And it's just like, so when we see that needle move, it's like, yeah, I did something. I've arrived a little bit, farther. I've got a long, hard road ahead of me still, but it becomes less challenging because I've got people, and so being able to walk with them through that process has been just an amazing thing for me.
Awesome. I love it. So we're going to get wrapping up. Anything that you want to leave everybody with this morning, Shanna, besides go try Pillar 5? You can say that again if you want.
I really do feel like they should do that. I mean, yes, check out pillar5.com, do the assessment, and, understand where you are, because without knowing where you are, you definitely aren't going to be able to get to where you're going. I just honestly feel that way. So check out Pillar 5, understand what you're in for, where you are, but know where you're trying to go, and engage us. We're here. You can reach out to me via pretty much any social media platform, in one way, shape, or form, and I will get you to the resources that you need. I will do my best to try and find someone to help you out if I can't help you out myself.
That's right. And you can always see her every Monday morning here too, as well. Pick your brain on the show, right? Awesome. Shanna, thanks so much for joining us this morning. It was great to have you be the guest this morning as opposed to the co-host, and get everyone a chance to get to know you a little bit better. So this has been a lot of fun. Thank you. Todd, any big takeaways from this morning?
There are emotional entrepreneurs, and then there's devotional entrepreneurs, and then there's people like Shanna who help you to kind of get back to your center. And I think that's what, is the strength of Shanna. Also is how it's a strength of utilizing Pillar 5, because I think, entrepreneurs, they come with their sense of passion, creativity, and devotion. And Shanna helps them to tap into what they need to be centered in. And I think that's a very big key. Like intention and clarity are the two key words I got from her today.
Yes, that was same for me. That was same for me too. That's been a lot of just going into 2022 for me has been spending a lot more time. I feel like just as this, well, because I'm getting older too. I feel like I'm hitting a big milestone birthday, so that's not helping. But I'm like, man, what do I want this? And so just hearing her talk about clarity, intention over and over again, saying that, it's like, man, right? Just really having that clarity of what that vision looks like.
Yep.
So awesome. Good stuff. Thank you to the LA Tribune and for ID Systems for sponsoring today's show. Go to pillar5.com, take your assessment, do it for Shanna. Do something this week that will help you better your business. Have a great week, everybody, and we will see you next Monday. We will have Maura here, the soul-searching entrepreneur. She is awesome. Really excited to hear from her as well. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Our goal is simple: to help you achieve the dream and vision you first had when you thought about starting a business. We're here to make growing your business less complicated. There are building blocks to build a sustainable business. We promise to seek them out and address them all. The Better Your Business Show starts now.